What are investor visas? What is the EB-5 visa? What's the difference between the two and which one's the best for me? Listen today, Immigration Wednesdays, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Hi, I'm attorney Jeff Peak, and I get consults all the time with people saying, hey, I'm interested in the EB-5 investor visa. What is this visa? Well, it's a pathway to permanent residency that was provided many years ago where a person can invest large amounts of money either in a new business or invest in somebody else's business or buy a franchise. And if that business results in producing 10 American jobs, roughly, there's a whole factor of how to determine that, then that person can go on to get permanent residency. It's essentially buying your permanent residency, if you want to think it like that. And so an entire industry has popped up over the last decade of a lot of investment firms, usually in real estate, building hotels, condominiums, office complex, you name it, where they ask for foreign money to come in and invest in these projects. That's one type of a way to do the EB-5. Another way is for people to come in and just want to open their own business. And both are legitimate and can potentially lead you to the residency that's provided by the EB-5. And recently, just here recently, there was a case decided that overturned a Trump-era decision to raise the EB-5 investment amounts. It used to be that you could invest $500,000 or $1 million, depending whether or not it was in a targeted unemployment area. But Trump said in his administration they wanted to raise those amounts to basically doubling those to go to $900,000 and $1.8 million. Well, basically a court ruling recently just came back and said that those decisions to raise those amounts was not made legitimately, and therefore the old amounts have re-implemented. So certainly there's a window of an opportunity for people here who want to try for the EB-5 and invest in it. But a lot of times I always ask the question, what is your main goal? Why do you want the EB-5? And certainly if somebody is dead set on permanent residency and this is their only way to get that path, we can discuss that as a potential route for getting to permanent residency. But a lot of times people want just the flexibility to come in, invest money here, start a business, and leave, and come in and leave, and come in and leave. And there's an entirely different visa called the E-2 visa, also known as the treaty trader investor visa, because the E-1 and E-2 visas are based on treaties made with other countries to allow foreign nationals to come and invest money here in the United States. Similar to the EB-5 in that they want to see that it's producing American jobs, although you don't have to show as many American jobs, you don't have to show 10 American jobs. And people often ask, well, how much money do I have to invest for the E-2? And the great thing about the E-2 is there's no statutory or regulatory amount that they list like the EB-5. So you may have a business plan that's going to produce jobs, and it only requires a $50,000 investment capital to start the business, and that potentially could be approved. Maybe your business is a little more complex and requires a little more investment. Maybe you need more office space or more inventory. Maybe you need $100,000 to start, $150,000 or $200,000. Point being is that there's no set amount. It's based on your idea, your business plan, your ability to execute that plan, the quality of the idea, and the legitimacy with which immigration thinks it will have effect. And if you are willing to put that money at risk, put that capital invested before you start the plan, because that's one of the big pieces that a lot of times people don't like, that you have to already start moving the money forward before you're approved for your visa, then a lot of times lawyers like us can get those visas approved and you can come in here and start a new business or invest in another business. So I think it's really a decision you have to make between the E-2 and the EB-5, which is the best for your purposes. If the sole goal is permanent residency, well, yes, you're going to need to focus on the EB-5. But you could start out on the E-2. And a lot of people don't realize you can actually start out investing in the E-2 and then later down the road convert that into an EB-5 application, depending on how many jobs you've created and how much money you've invested. So that's something worth keeping in mind too. So again, these are two visas, both for investors, both give you access to the United States. One is a pathway to permanent residency, the EB-5. The other, you need to check your country to make sure your country has a treaty with the United States. But if you do, then you could potentially invest a lower amount, still have access to the United States that you could renew. And that renewal could be potentially perpetual. There's no end time of how many times you can renew it, as long as you can keep demonstrating the business is operational and it's producing American jobs. You can potentially keep coming as long as you need to. If you have questions about these are very complicated and detailed matters, please call us here at Peak & Tone. We'd love to help you explain the options you have in front of you. You may even have other options depending if you have businesses outside the United States. We'd love to explore all these avenues with you and find the best choice for you and your money and your needs. I hope that helps. This is Immigration Wednesday. Jeff Peek here at Peek and Tullen. We'll see you next Wednesday.